what was your understanding and knowledge of the lavender scare in the 80s era of the AIDS epidemic when you were growing up?
Well, I knew more about the AIDS epidemic for so many reasons. The inherited shame of it, all the things that we have to unpick as gay men, and also confused sort of misunderstandings about gay experience from everyone as when I was growing up in a small village in England. But and then also there's brilliant reactive sort of plays and films about the AIDS epidemic, and we know that the story of AIDS has been a very cinematic, and it's taken up a lot of space in the representation that we've had growing up. But in terms of the lavender scare, it felt like it was going to within our sort of capacity, like going to the grassroots of, it's just a genius thing that Ron Nicewain has done to join the dots of all these, and there's an absolute through line with oppression and power, and managing people and using scare tactics, which and effectively what the Eisenhower EO and the way that McCarthy dealt with it is also the founding sort of start of something that ends with a whole government that refuses to acknowledge a huge endemic sort of disease that is affecting gay men, and it just the sort of vocabulary that's used in the 50s, it echoes all the way through. So yeah. Anyway, I knew more. I did. Sorry, I knew a lot about in the 50s in England. I think I knew more about that. And did
Yeah.
you know much about the lavender scare?
So let's see, I was a teenager in the 80s. So I was definitely aware and very conscious of the AIDS epidemic in the US here. And so this is pre-internet. So if I was trying to find something, and I also grew up in a very small town,
Yeah.
uh, I had to hope that my county library would have some information, but it was always really difficult. And what ended up happening is I'd have older friends and they would introduce me to generations of gay men older than me.
Mhm.
And that's where I got all of my history, because there was nobody teaching us that history.
It did, and it wasn't present in any books, and it was completely sort of erased, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a
Deeply isolating time, I imagine.
ver- very much so. But I was very lucky. I had really good people that did that. So I felt at a younger age that I knew more things than I guess I was supposed to.
Yeah, but the is this? I think that's also of gay culture. The sort of angels of having older friendships is so important, and I know it's something that Ron Nicewain has talked about